Chair now recognizes Mr. Frost from Florida for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Administrator Regan, for being here. I appreciate the great work that you do. And I hope a lot of members that are bringing up concerns with the office will actually follow up with y'all and create a good relationship with you instead of just taking 5 minutes to get a clip for YouTube or whatever to post online. Many Floridians acutely recognize that their future is at stake in discussions about climate policy. We're a frontline community, we're a frontline state. Not long ago, I met with Orange County Utilities, the water provider for communities like the area of Bithlo, which is in my district. Most of Bithlo doesn't have access to municipal water and wastewater, only using wells and septic systems. Thanks to ARPA, the American Rescue Plan, Orange County is able to invest $12.6 million in the rural community of Bithlo. Future phases will require further investment, and implementation has begun on phase 1 of the transformational rural water infrastructure project in a portion of the community of Bithlo. We're also looking forward to having the Region 4 administrator visit Bithlo to provide technical assistance resources. I also want to uplift the historic town of Eatonville, which is also in my district. Eatonville is the country's first and oldest black municipality. They are finalizing awards from the EPA's SRF program through the Clean Water Projects and Drinking Water Initiatives. And so we're excited about that and appreciate the EPA for your work. For those who don't know, last year the EPA established the National Environmental Youth Advisory Council. The council met earlier this year for 2 days on February 28th and 29th, and of course I was honored to be at the launch of this council last year. Administrator Regan, during the 2-day inaugural session of the National Environmental Youth Advisory Council, what recommendations or points of focus stood out to you the most, and how do you plan to incorporate them in your vision for the agency?
Well, first of all, thank you for joining us last November. I think the young people were more excited to see you than see me, so you gave us some street cred there. Yeah, we pulled together 16 of some of the smartest young people from across the country, ages 16 to 29. And they spoke very passionately about, number one, our ineffective ability to communicate and connect with young people. You know, bringing the bureaucratic conversations down a notch. And so we have looked at our education, our outreach, our social media strategies to be sure that our information is getting to folks. Number two, they have made a number of suggestions on how young people can be more involved in our regulation making, our regulatory opportunities. They have given us a number of recommendations that we're still combing through. And three, you know, when they've looked at EPA's agenda for the next 2 to 3 years, there have been some things on our agenda that they've asked us to prioritize and move up a little bit higher. So I just want you to know that we're listening to our young people. They absolutely have a permanent seat at the table. And quite frankly, from what I'm seeing, they're going to make the agency and our products better.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Last April, the EPA put out a national scale report showing how climate change and the climate crisis is disproportionately harming our nation's children. I ask unanimous consent to submit that report to the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
Some of the key findings highlighted how climate change is expected to increase the incidence of asthma in children, increase asthma-related emergency department visits, increase climate-driven temperature increases that are projected to result in 4 to 7% reductions in annual academic achievement per child, and also, if no additional adaptations are taken, 1 to 2 million children are estimated to experience temporary home displacement or complete home loss due to the climate crisis. With at least half of the National Youth Advisory Council members coming from or working primarily in disadvantaged communities, how is the EPA ensuring that these voices are not only heard, but their concerns are acted upon in a meaningful way?
Absolutely. As we push these reports out, we you know, in between sessions, ensure that they have this level of information. Each session, this is a FACA, this is a formal group, so each session they have with me and my leadership team, they come prepared with recommendations that they adopt or we adopt procedurally. And so it's my hope at the next meeting, they'll come fully prepared to discuss this report along with a series of reports that we are pushing to this group.
Well, I thank you so much for bringing young people to the table to be a part of the great work the EPA is doing. As we know, young people are disproportionately impacted by the climate crisis, and I think we all know the cost of not doing anything is far greater, or the cost of not doing anything is far greater than the cost of waiting. We have to ensure that we defeat the climate crisis and do everything we can. Thank you so much, and I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. Chair